and also the impeachment of Kericho Governor Eric Kipkoech Mutahi. In Kibwezi West, Member of Parliament Mwangi Mutuse, the mover of the impeachment motion against the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, has prosecuted his case to oust the second-in-command. Among other issues Mutuse questions was how the DP bought Aberdare Hotel through his sons at a cost of 535 million shillings just 2 months after assuming office, despite declarations by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that he does not own the properties listed in the motion. Mutuse pinned Gachagua's sons as the directors of some of the properties, despite not being the executor of Nderitu Gachagua's will. The first-time lawmaker called on the MPs to impeach the deputy president on grounds of corruption, accusing him of amassing outrageous amount of wealth in just 2 years. Mutuse also claimed that the DP is involved in money laundering.
Our allegation here is that the deputy president in the last 2 years has amassed wealth that during the short period that I was able to do research totals to about 5.2 billion, which is inconsistent with his known sources of income and with his last declaration of income. Mr. Speaker, it will be remembered that during the presidential debate, the deputy president did declare that he was worth 800 million. It is also known by virtue of the gazettements by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission that he earns $1 million or thereabout per month, and therefore he needs to show where he got the money to amass these properties. The import of my allegation is twofold. Number one, there is what we call unexplained assets under the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act. And number two, there is money laundering. Mr. Speaker, in my motion, I have listed a total of 22 companies that I believe the Deputy President has been using, number one, to amass, to award himself through conflict of interest, businesses in his office and in government. And number two, to purchase properties using unexplained sources of income. Mr. Speaker, it will be remembered that yesterday during the televised interview, the Deputy President went through all the companies and they did not deny that either of them belongs to him. All he did was to say that he registered some of them before he became Deputy President. I am not interested in the time that the companies were registered. I am interested in what the companies have done in the last 2 years. And I will demonstrate that these companies have actually done economic crimes against the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I have also listed properties. I have listed a number of properties that the Deputy President has purchased within the 2 years that he has been in office. I have listed Treetops Hotel in Nyeri. I have listed Olive Gardens Hotel. I have listed Queensgate Serviced Apartments. I have listed Wamunyoro Investments land in Embakasi. I have listed the Aberdare Treetops Hotel, Outspan Hotel, Olive Gardens Hotel, and the Vipingo Beach Resort. Mr. Speaker, you will be told by the defense that some of the properties that I've listed do not belong to Rigathi Gachagua, but they belong to the estate of Nderitu Gachagua. Mr. Speaker, as you listen, please know that this man is not fond of telling the truth. And I will prove to you, and I want you to listen to me very carefully, that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, it is true that he was one of the administrators of the estate of his late brother. It is easy to hide under the dead because the dead cannot come to give evidence. But also, there are documents. I have with me the joint will executor's report on the status of the estate of Nderitu Gachagua as at 27th June 2024. This is a valid document that is part of our bundle of documents, and that also I have seen is part of the documents that came through public participation. And in this document, what the Deputy President has not told Kenyans, and listen to me, because the Deputy President actually committed another crime yesterday, misleading Kenyans. What the Deputy President has not told Kenyans is that in those 2 years, he is the one who has bought the properties of his own brother through coercion. And I am not interested, I have no problem with people owning property. What I have a problem with, and this is what he needs to be explaining to us, where did you get the money to buy these properties?
And members of the clergy in Nakuru County are urging politicians to demonstrate humility and uphold dignity amid the push to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Led by Reverend Kirathe of PCEA Milimani Parish, the clergy say politicians should unite the country rather than using their region to divide the country.
Going through a moment that is very unique in our country, because all the years we have thought that the word impeachment is only a word in our constitution and that it can only happen to the governors. Now, those who have decided to impeach the Deputy President have told us one thing, that we can impeach anyone. So as this process goes on, we send a message of peace. We don't have to fight over such. Since Rigathi became a Deputy President, umekula kwake. Let us now continue agitating for good governance. For there is no favor we are done by our leaders from the President to the MCA. And because they took an oath, may we continue demanding good governance. Kwa hivyo hata wakimaliza hii, tukiona mwingine amepitia pale, tutawaambia kama Nigerians, Afro cinema continues.
And the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has faulted the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for his televised interview ahead of today's impeachment motion. Wetangula noted that the DP ought to have exercised restraint ahead of the special motion debate and voting.
The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya held an interview with the local media in which he laid out his defense to the special motion before the House. Whereas Standing Order 85 prohibits members of this House from anticipating debate of a motion for which notice has been given, the Standing Order, when broadly interpreted, also extends to non-members, especially persons affected by such motions. Noting that the special motion is scheduled for debate and voting today, I believe that the Deputy President ought to have exercised restraint and refrained from holding the press interview.
The House also takes public notice that law and procedurally, the Deputy President did address the nation yesterday, and therefore, part of what he said may form part of what I will be talking about. I will therefore avoid the bravado and machismo that was displayed yesterday on television, and we will just talk about the law, the facts, and the evidence.
Order, members.
Legislatures led by Deputy Majority Leader Owen Baya, who seconded the impeachment motion, have endorsed the ouster of Rigathi Gachagua as the Deputy President. The Kilifi North lawmaker slammed the DP over what he termed as belittling the House. Rarieda Member of Parliament Otiende Amolo had issues with the DP's utterances in yesterday's address, arguing that the self-entitlement and disdain for Parliament was enough grounds for his ouster.
His address yesterday, the Deputy President called Parliament and this National Assembly a theater of the absurd, a house of ridicule, a house which processes trash. That's what he said about this Parliament. A Deputy President who has called people names, a Deputy President who has called a Member of Parliament a prostitute. A Deputy President who has amassed wealth that cannot be accounted for. For that, Honorable Speaker, just like Nancy Baraza was bundled out of office, the deputy president must also be bundled out of office because of that impropriety.
After listening to the display of jingoism by the deputy president, after listening to the self-entitlement for 2.5 hours, after listening to the disdain of governance institutions, this parliament and the courts, after listening to the DP threatening that parliament and the court should know that it's not easy to remove a deputy president who had 7.2 million votes. Mr. Speaker, after treating Kenyans as fools by trying to mislead on the intent and purpose of his utterances on the idea of government being a company, it was easy for me to make a decision to cast my lot with impeachment of the deputy president.
Nasimama hapa kuunga mkono hoja hii ya kumng'atua mamlakani naibu wa rais Bwana Rigathi Gachagua. Na naunga mkono kwa sababu katiba yetu kifungu 159 imetupatia sababu mwafaka za kuweza kumng'atua naibu wa rais. Na sababu ya kwanza imezungumzia kukeuka katiba. Na nikiangalia Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua amekeuka katiba, haswa nikiangalia kipengele cha 10.
The deputy president during his tenure has been divisive and very egocentric. For him, it is about me, myself, and I. It is unfortunate that he has lowered the status and respect expected of such high office. Women must be respected. It is therefore, it disturbs me so greatly when the deputy president is at the forefront demeaning women in leadership, particularly those he perceives his enemies. He has no respect for women whatsoever. He has made a scathing public attacks on a woman high court judge. And in addition, he has been attacking women, and especially members of parliament, me and others included in this house. And therefore, he can never, and he has no respect for women, and he can never work with women. And for those few remarks, I support.
And to other matters, the High Court has started hearing a case challenging the impeachment of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. Justice Bahati Wamuye said the case will be heard in open court after numerous distractions when the case was conducted virtually. Kawira obtained temporary orders to stop the impeachment, but a Senate has since filed an application to stop those orders. Well, and at this point, we've come to the close of K24 Newscast. And many thanks for keeping us company. And remember, we'll be following the hearing of the impeachment motion against the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who's expected to make an appearance in Parliament as from 5 p.m. My name is Bentura Komboka, and our sign language interpreter has been Walter Asawe. Do have yourself a good afternoon. Bye-bye for now.